the other option is also to work with double screens, which I do sometimes. And when I start sharing, I choose between screen 1 and 2, and I go with screen 2, where again my presentation is full open.
Am I going to be on?
You'll be off camera in the other room.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hopefully I can go ahead. The other, sorry, I muted myself. The other worry that I have is also to make sure that when you connect to the event, you're there like half an hour before to figure that microphone topic, because I really can hear a lot of echo coming from you. So that might be a trouble if the event is run on the same conditions. Just before I go ahead and schedule, I'm going to change the time because we're past 11:30 here in London. I will just put 12 here because otherwise, you know, I will have an error message saying that this cannot be booked. One thing that is actually something that we might have to improve at our end is the setting arrow here. So this is actually quite the most important part of it, but I feel it's like kind of hidden. So don't forget, when you're finished with branding, just have a look there. And this is the menu, the list of all the options that you can either enable or disable for your event. The first one being the chat. So there's different possibilities to chat during the event. There's a chat that you can leave open where basically participants, attendees can throw all kinds of, messages and everybody can read them. So it's completely interactive. It's similar to the chat that, I'm using today on this BlueJeans meetings tool. So this is something that you might want to consider whether you open or not, knowing that even if you disable that, there is a possibility to do a one-to-chat if you kind of ping somebody you want to chat to, because you will obviously, as a moderator, you will have the full roster during the event and you'll see who is connected, right? So if you ping those people, you can actually chat them one-on-one without having, the full interactive chat open. Also, it is possible now, just want to double check if it is, general accessibility or limited accessibility yet. So this is just the levels of accessibility when we send features out. But it's possible, or it's coming very soon in any case, moderator to moderator chat. So if you are more than one moderator, and you can do up to 100 moderators, by the way, you can actually chat between you during the event without the participants having any view on that. So the event chat is just the full interactive open chat to everybody that you want to disable or enable. I suggest sometimes it's a bit confusing with the question and answers box, because if you want to have a question and answer session, you want to have it in an organized way, and you want attendees to put their questions through on this box, and they might get confused with the chat box that is just above. So up to you, just do some dry runs and some tests with and without, and you see how you feel about it. Attendee search is just a possibility on the search bar for a participant to check out if their colleagues are connected to the meeting. So I don't know, if I start typing Olivier, for example, then we're both in the meeting, his name will come up. So again, you can enable or disable that. Question and answers. This is the part where you gather the questions, and as a moderator, you'll be able also to organize them. Is an interactive, obviously, tool that allows you, first of all, to either publish the questions or to filter them. Sorry. Sorry about that. To filter them before publishing, and this is always a moderator option. Or kind of let them just go directly on full view and be published without approval. Now, what we will try out today is with approval. So it's the moderator being able to have a preview actually on the questions and either publish or not them. The questions can also be anonymous. This is just a box that is added for every participant. If he doesn't wish to send his name with the question, he can just click on anonymous and the question will come up as anonymous to everybody else and to the moderators. Auto recording might be actually useful when you just think you might forget actually to click on it. Starting the event, starting the webcast, doesn't start the recording automatically. This is by default. You will have to start it and then click on start recording to also be able to record it. Auto recording is straightforward as a concept, I think, is just starting the recording as soon as you start the webcast. And we're talking now about the moderators starting the event for the attendees that in the meantime were waiting for it to start. Phone dial-in, I would suggest always tick it on, is just adding to the invitation that goes out to the attendees telephone numbers in case they don't have good internet connections or whatever it's needed to get on the event via, like their computers or tablets or phones, so they can at least dial the number and join by phone. Raise hand is an option that would give the possibility to an attendee, so a participant, to be promoted to presenter or moderator, and basically to have access to his camera and microphone. This is in case you will need more interaction than just the question and answers and have a proper conversation, a proper dialogue with one of the attendees. Yes, Natalie, maybe you have a question. I think your mic is open.
No.
Thank you. Raising hands, it's something that I suggest to users that are familiar with the tool. So probably not on the first event, but once you are used to do this webcast with Blue Jeans, you'll see that everything comes easier, and then attendees, I think, can probably get more features and options to use from. Now, how that works is the raised hand is just a hand icon that will display on the attendees layout screen. They click on it, the moderator receives a request for promotion. If he decides to promote the attendee will actually pop up from the attendees list into the presenters list, and in this case will have the same attributes as a presenter, so he will be able to access his camera and access his microphone and be able to talk and dialogue with you. When he's done, he can drop off himself, or the moderator can choose to, that his time is up and to drop him off. In this case, he will go back to becoming just an attendee, meaning just a spectator without having any access to his microphone. Something that is quite like a tip, because sometimes I forget myself. When you connect as a presenter or as a moderator, and even when an attendee is promoted to presenter, you come up with microphones and camera muted. So please remember to unmute them before you start speaking, because by default, when you arrive, everything is muted. Display attendee count is just basically deciding whether or not you want to show the number of attendees that are in the meeting at a certain point during the meeting. And the welcome music is just the music that you want to play or not while attendees are waiting for the event to start. So when they come into the meeting, unless the moderator has not decided to start yet, all they have is that slide that we saw before with your welcome message and the music that you decide to play or not. Now, for the moment, we cannot change that, but we're looking into customizing it. So we're good to go. So if I click schedule here, event is scheduled. And here we are with our 3 invitations. Now, I will tell you how things are to be done officially and how I do things myself. So we have the 3 roles coming up with, as you see, 3 different pieces of, invitation. Each and one of them have a different link and different information. Please don't confuse them. If you want to send the invitation to participants, make sure that you are sending this part of the invitation. If you're inviting moderators on top of yourself, this is the information for the moderator, and the presenters have their own. Now, sending this, like if I click done here, obviously I have already received one as a moderator, but it will send you like our Blue Jeans, basically a bit fixed invitation with, our own display that you might like or not. So it's possible, obviously, to start sending invitations from here. What I do, though, is to send them to myself. There you go. And what I prefer to do is basically do my own invitation from my Outlook. I think Outlook is a better platform to customize your invitations and to make sure that what you're sending out is relevant and makes sense, and even to add a comment or a text that